I'll be sharing these brilliant voices of HR and business leaders from the real estate sector. It gives me a very great pleasure to welcome you all to this session to discuss on the topic, the role of HR in fostering a culture of innovation in the real estate sector. Without further ado, I'd like to go straight into introductions. My name is Vivian Okoye. I'll be your host today from Regenesis Business School, and I have our esteemed panelists who have joined us this morning. And the spotlight goes to Tunde Wale Temowo, who currently is the head of human resources and admin at the Nigerian Mortgage Refinance Company. He's a certified human resource management professional with hands-on experience across the human resource value chain. Is a member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management Nigeria and the Society of Human Resource Management. Tunde has worked as a management consultant with KPMG Nigeria, focusing on people and change management. He also has worked as technical advisor on human resources and program management to Nigerian Securities and Exchange Commission. He has at various times worked on HR advisory engagements to major private and public sector entities. He had previously worked in one of Nigeria's leading commercial banks. His 2-year experience at the bank cuts across both business development and operations functions. He holds a bachelor's degree in building from the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, and an MBA from the University of Leicester, United Kingdom. He is a contributor to the Faith Foundation's MSME Hub, an online platform focused on SME empowerment. He has facilitated a variety of training programs, both locally and offshore. Welcome today.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
You're welcome. Moving on, we've got Florence Awushika, currently the performance manager at Palton Morgan Holdings, a seasoned human resources professional with a decade of progressive experience across the full HR value chain. Her career spans multiple industries, including healthcare, engineering, and real estate, and has served as a consultant to diverse organizations across sectors, bringing strategic insights and analytical depth to her practice. Florence is certified as a senior professional in Human Resource International. In her current role, she leads performance optimization initiatives and supports data-driven decision-making for organizational effectiveness. Her educational background includes a bachelor's degree in computer science education from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and she's currently pursuing an MBA from the University of East London. Her dedication to continuous learning is further demonstrated through specialized training in business analysis and data analytics. Welcome, Florence.
Good morning. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Moving on, we've got Temi Tokwe-Anyobowale, currently the general manager at 730 Real Estate Limited. She is a strategic HR professional with over a decade of experience in the real estate sector, adept at managing human capital and client relations across diverse property segments. For 7 years, she has guided startups in developing and implementing robust organizational structures, workflows, and strategic objectives. Her core expertise lies in creating sustainable HR ecosystems and fostering leadership talent to support scalable business growth and optimizing available resources. Her credentials include an industrial and labor relations degree, a postgraduate diploma in management, a CIPM membership, and a PHRI certification. She's proficient in SAP, HCM, Workday, and project management software. Demonstrating a strong capability in digital transformation, she developed a CRM solution that significantly improved reporting efficiency and client data management across multiple properties, aligning HR strategy with technological innovation. Welcome, Temi Tokwe. Okay. You're most welcome. We've got Yetunde Akintoye, currently the Group Head Human Resources at Veritasi Homes and Properties. She is a seasoned human resources professional with over a decade of diverse experience spanning the capital market, education, event management, transportation, oil and gas, and consulting. In her present role, she oversees HR strategy and operations across 3 dynamic subsidiaries, Veritasi Homes, ARN Foods, and Asterix Asset Management. Yetunde's expertise covers all aspects of professional HR practice, from organizational development and talent management to strategic HR leadership. Beyond her corporate role, she's a core team member and the director of membership for a vibrant HR mentorship community of over 7,000 professionals, where she actively contributes to mentorship, capacity building, and professional growth in the HR space. She's an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management and is currently pursuing her SPHRI certification, along with other executive certification programs from the Lagos Business School. Yetunde is passionate about service, mentoring, and driving impact, as well as committed to consistently delivering value and inspiring excellence in every sphere she operates. On the personal front, she has been happily married for over a decade and is a proud mother of two beautiful princesses, a role she adores just as much as her professional calling. Welcome here today. Okay, we also have Aisha Yetunde Alarakwe, currently the operations manager at Nemo Standard Facility Management Limited. She is a certified facility manager with a solid foundation in human resources and over a decade of experience bridging the gap between people and processes. She began her academic journey at the Ahmadu Bello University, where she obtained a Bachelor of Arts in English Literature, later earning a postgraduate degree in Educational Administration from the University of Lagos, and has since become an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Human Resources Management. She is also a member of the International Facility Management Association and a student member of the CIPM Nigeria. Reflecting her commitment to continuous professional growth, she trained under Alpha Mead Facilities Management and has developed a deep understanding of how efficient facilities and empowered people contribute to business sustainability. In her current role, she blends her background in HR with operational leadership, overseeing service delivery, optimizing internal workflows, and ensuring every client's experience reflects excellence. Aisha is a creative thinker, humanitarian, and a budding entrepreneur. Her love for reading, adventure, and arts enriches her life outside of her professional responsibilities. She plays a pivotal role in driving Nemo's culture of accountability, innovation, and client-centric service. Her expertise lies not just in managing facilities, but in building sustainable structures, both physical and organizational, that support long-term performance and goals. Welcome, Aisha. Okay, thank you everyone for coming again on this program. We'll go right into the basis of this discussion. We're here to talk about the role of HR. You're most welcome, Aisha. If it's possible, can you please turn on your camera, please? Thank you. Okay, so we're talking about the role of HR in fostering a culture of innovation in the real estate sector. We all know that the real estate industry is rapidly evolving, driven by technology, changing consumer needs, and sustainability goals. In this landscape of ours, innovation is very essential, and HR plays a key role in making this happen. This session will explore how HR has driven innovation by rethinking workforce strategies and fostering a culture of adaptability and change. And our questions goes to the first person here on our list, goes to the one and only Aisha, please. You need to put on your camera, Aisha, please. Aisha.
Oh, yes, sorry about that. I was having a challenge with the previous device. I had to switch it to another device. Sorry about that.
No problem. Thank you. Okay, thank you. All right. So can you please tell us how HR creates an environment where employees feel psychologically safe to voice bold or unconventional ideas without fear of failure or reprimand?
Okay, so yeah. So to take that, we need to look at why innovation matters in real estate and how we can blend this with the human resource department. How the human resource department can foster innovations in this guide, and how do we do that? The fact that people, a lot of people have this impression that human resources is just that department that works with the mission of the organization. People have the impression, to a large extent, I stand to be corrected, that HR has more of the organization's interest at heart. HR does not really care about the staff. They are just on a neutral ground. The impression they give is, oh yes, as the human resource manager, I care about the staff, their welfare matters. But in the real sense, they do not. But for me, I tell people that human resource to me is being able to blend both the organization's vision and also put in the welfare of the staff in mind. So this seems to be a challenge for most people when it comes to having a balance between understanding your organization and understanding the staff as well. So as HR, you should be able to create a landing ground, create a balance between these two people, that's the organization and the people in the organization. Without the people, we do not have an organization. That's just the simple truth. You need the workforce, you need the human workforce to ensure that they're able to champion the rules, they're able to drive the organization to achieve its optimal goals. So without the people, the organization is not there.
Okay, would that be all? Do you want to say any other thing?
Okay, so now I'll talk about how we can survive in this, guys. We need to look at what the real estate sector is dealing with when it comes to innovation. The real estate sector is dealing with technological disruptions. They are dealing with rising client expectations and sustainability pressures. And then we have a more younger and more dynamic workforce. We need to also put that in place. And to be able to survive and grow in this landscape, companies must be creative, they must be agile and forward thinking. Now, there's a bottleneck for the human resource department where you're trying to carry on the young dynamic workforce, and you're trying to sell a proposal of let's be forward thinking, let's take up innovative practices. Let's see how we can put them together. Your role here is to ensure that you are not just giving this younger dynamic workforce a voice, but putting their voice into play. Are you just listening to them because you just want them to hear their opinions, or you are open to taking their advices or suggestions, putting it into fruition? So as HR, the role of HR here is to ensure that you're able to marry both together. Now, not just jumping on any innovative practice out there, but liking it to what suits your organization's optimal goals and getting them done effectively.
Okay, thank you very much, Aisha. I'll just like to, go back to the question. I'd mentioned and I'd asked, how can HR create an environment where employees feel psychologically safe to voice bold or unconventional ideas without fear? So I'll throw this again. What would you say is the best way to balance the interest of the management and that of the staff? Now, we all know that sometimes your subordinates or some of your staff will not be able to come out to voice out their own ideas because they feel that when they bring on those ideas to the table, it's not relevant, So how are you able to manage, and balance the interests of the management and that of the staff as a HR professional?
Okay, so what I would do different here is, or should I say what I do differently is, I encourage the managers to listen, not just lead. You're not just here as a line manager or as a supervisory head, but you should listen. You need to have this active listening skill. You're not just here to lead. If you're a leader who is having followers and they don't feel safe to talk to you, then you're not leading. You need to listen. That's one. Then secondly, you need to normalize learning from failure. You need to embrace failure and learn from it. It's not okay to just make a mistake and say, I'm moving on. But have you been able to reflect and learn from that mistake? So HR leaders must do this. First of all, you must listen. Secondly, you have to normalize learning from failure, not just failing, but learning from whatever failure that might have occurred. And thirdly, you need to also celebrate efforts. The effort goes a long way, not just the outcome. Majority of people would focus on the outcome, but they do not pay cognizant attention to the effort that we put in place. Pay attention to the process that leads to this outcome and celebrate them. Celebrate the efforts of your team members. Celebrate the efforts of your staff. It goes a long way to motivate them. I tell my team members that everybody is here to yes, earn a living, pursue a career, but don't make the workforce, don't make the atmosphere unbearable for the next person. Learn to celebrate them, learn to carry them along. That way you're creating a psychological safety. And then you also need to put in at the back of your mind that we do not, we see things from different perspectives. People are from diverse backgrounds. Our moral compass is facing different areas. But when you are in the workplace, try to find the balance where you put in corporate etiquette, no matter what your personal or background differences are. Ensure that you have a corporate etiquette in place. So as HR, you can foster that. How do you do that? Celebrate their efforts, celebrate their little wins. That goes a long way. You never can tell what a word or a simple effort you put in can do to the next person. So I feel these 3 points would go a long way in capturing psychological safety. Please be a good listener, learn from failures, and celebrate their efforts, not just the outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aisha. That was very brilliant. That's great insights. Moving on, I'd like to ask Florence. Florence, can you please tell us what are the key soft skills and mindsets HR leaders would prioritize when recruiting for innovation, especially in the real estate roles?
Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Good to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. Yes, so we talk about the skills that are necessary for the real estate in relations with innovation and creativity. And one thing I would talk about is we need to have a creativity skill. In the real estate sector, we have diverse
Hello, Florence, can you hear us?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, in the real estate sector, we have different creativity, different innovation with respect to the buildings, with respect to different constructions going on, the brands, the marketing, the PR, and a whole lot. And because we have different segments, and I will use my own organization as an example. So we moved from when we started as a real estate with low income earners to a luxury real estate. So of course we moved from the part where we have a particular type of employees with these particular skills, and we went for employees with skills, creative skills, employees who can think outside of the box, employees who can communicate the right way. We went out for employees who have the right mindsets, and also employees who are very, very innovative. And why do we do this? We have requests from customers, from clients who want specific things. So we then have to go for staff, employees who then think outside of the box, who can make research. Research is also a very big skill that we also look out for when we are recruiting. Your ability to, you have gathered information over the years, how you are able to bring forth and communicate your skills to us to make the organization grow. One of the skill that we'd also prioritize is collaboration. In the real estate sector, you're working with different departments, you're working with different people from different walks of life. And I would give an example this way. So you have come in as a project manager. The project manager at one point in time would have to talk to the town planner. The project manager that have come in would have to talk to the brand and marketing person, because of course you want to communicate that. And the project manager at any point in time will have to talk to the sales guys. You know, if those employees don't have that collaboration skills, it will be difficult for you to execute the plan and the goals of the organization. So to me, I would say collaboration skill, very, very important, because you have to sit down with your team, you have to collaborate to ensure that the goals that are set aside for the organization really works. That's one key skills. We also talk about, of course, in collaboration, we talk about team bonding. You have that spirit that works together with people and agrees. You agree to disagree. You come to a focal point where you then make a decision. There's no one is an island of knowledge, so you have to work with other people. And like I said, creativity is also one of the things that we look at. For example, we have a team and we are already building up, and something happens. How can we then change the construction? How can we then change if it is narrative and we have a wrong narrative outside there? How do our brands and marketing departments speak about, even though it's a wrong narrative, how do they speak or bring about the PR of the company back to the right light? How do we communicate to our customers, to our clients outside there in a very creative way? How do we do things to make other people see us as a role model that we have to follow? So we look at these skills, collaborative skills, we look at creative skills, we look at communication, very important. You have to be able to communicate, right? You're communicating both internally and externally, and above all, everybody in our organization have the selling skill. It's a real estate company, and of course, that's what we do. So we also look at the selling skill. How you're able, do you have the selling skill? If you don't, you have other type of skill. Then we train you in this part, and everybody works together. You bring your strength in this area, another person bring their strength in this area. We put them together to be able to grow as an organization.
Thank you so much, Florence. I'll just, like to take you back. As much as you have mentioned certain skills here, what cuts me is the research. Now, would you please throw more light on how important research skills can affect your business? Because I'm sure people want to know, what are you researching?
Okay, so when I talk about research, I would use this as an example. If we are about to communicate a particular brand, or we are throwing out a campaign, we are running a campaign, and we have a graphics team have gone to, design something, and we want to put it outside there. It takes someone that has made research or that can make research to be able to flag it if that product is ours. So what I mean is, if that person has not gone to plagiarize with it. So it's very important. Aside that, we also look at where you make research of the kind of building that people want at a particular time. Last year, we had Detsy, December, people came into Lagos and a whole lot of activity around that. If a forward-thinking real estate company already knows that this has come to stay, and you better start planning in that area, because people would always come from overseas to have that good time in December. So you're looking at any of the states that they come, it takes research. Which area do they settle in the most? And what part of Lagos do they settle in the most? You don't want to have your Airbnb in Ajangbadi when it is happening on the island. You don't want to have it in one village in Ijebu-Ode when it is happening in the acts of the state. So research like that, just because you know that this is now moving, doesn't mean that you just fizzle into it and you move on. So having that research skill, going above and beyond your call of duty to make research, to have your data, to know the data of the people that came in, how many of them even rented or took an apartment, either lodged in the hotel, what are the features they are looking out for, what are the things that what are the gaps that
Recording
they also
stopped.
had communicated, they had communicated over time, and we can leverage on that. So it takes a forward-thinking organization that does research, that have a research department, to be able to do that and say, oh, this is the data that we have for last year. This is what happened last year. This is what will likely happen in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years. This is what we should focus on. So it takes a research organization, it takes a forward-thinking organization to set up that particular department. And of course, you can only set up that department if you have a team that is research focused. They can help you research. And guess what? If you have that kind of department that does research, or employees that have that skill and they can research for you, you'll be meeting the right need of the people. You won't ask the question, oh, yes, we have it down. Why is no one getting it? Yes, we have it available, but who will get it? So your research would answer who will buy it. Your research would answer why they would buy it. Your research will answer why they even need it. Your research will answer the price that they will pay for it. Your research would answer the modality for the building that you're constructing, the need of the customer per time. The research would answer so many questions that you feel that, off the top of your head, that's what you're doing. Research will answer and will solve some of those problems. So, and again, let me just add the data analytics skills to it. So you need data that work with research. Those skills are very important. By the time you merge them together, you are answering questions beyond the ordinary. You're creating solutions beyond the ordinary, both for the company and also for the growth of yourself and the need of the people, the need of the customers at the same time. Again, research skills, data analytics skills, communication skills, collaboration skills, and a whole lot of them.
Thank you very much. We do appreciate these insights. Moving on, we want to give the spotlight to the only male in the house, Tunde. Okay, Tunde, can you please tell us how your HR team has used digital tools to streamline processes and free up time for more strategic, innovation-related work, especially in the real estate sector?
All right, thank you very much, Vivian, and good morning once again to everyone. Yes, so I mean, the background has been set. We live in a time where you either innovate or you go extinct. You know, we live in an age where the way we live our lives, the way we do business keeps evolving at the speed of thought. So you just have to evolve, with that. I work in the financing end of the real estate value chain, where regulation is very, very tight for us, very critical. And the regulation and innovation at times, could be working at different ends. You want to move, innovate big time, but regulation is, applying the brakes So that is, something that we have to live with in the financing end of the real estate value chain. But that doesn't mean that we're not able to introduce, innovation into the things that we do. So we're also evolving with the times. So in more specific terms, and this is something that is an ongoing, I think this just comes so timely because this is an ongoing project that we're working on. It's every organization, every structured organization has policies and procedures manuals that you have. HR is usually that bridge between management and the staff. So you get to answer a lot of questions as part of the operational aspects of your job as HR. Oh, what is the policy on this? What is the policy on that? These days, there are actually AI tools that can actually help you bridge that gap between policy and the employees wanting to know what are the answers to this. So you have AI bots that employees can actually engage with. So I want to know what's the policy on leave, for example. Am I entitled to leave? Yes, it's in the handbook, but not everybody has time to go read up the pages of the handbook. So we're having AI bots that you can actually interact with and will give you the answers to that because those bots are fed, with those policies as well. And that's more user-friendly. It saves time, for the employees or whoever wants to have answers to those sort of questions rather than flipping through the pages of the policy. You could just chat, with the bots and you have, those questions. Of course, there is also a limit to that because the bots can answer to the extent to which you have trained it with the policies, so which is also an area for continuous improvement. So that is one of those areas where for us, we've been able to bring in innovation, into improving our HR operations. Of course, there are also areas around automation. When we started, I had the privilege of starting at NMRC right from scratch. We were entirely paper-based. A lot of things we did were totally paper-based, but we've transitioned from paper-based operations to now having HRIS, and a lot of our processes are automated to a large extent now that we're pushing out the paper, also in keeping with the sustainability drive globally, where we're reducing paper-based operations to making our operations largely automated, and that saves time. It makes it user-friendly for employees. It makes life easy. I don't have to be in the office to do work. I can be out of the country and I'm doing work. I'm interacting. I'm attending to things that I need to attend to. So those are things that the evolutions that innovation has brought into the kind of work we do and how it has rubbed off on our operations and the employee engagements as well.
Thank you very much, Tunde. We appreciate that. Just like to confirm and ask this. With regards to automation, are there any challenges that come with it in the real estate sector?
So, a major challenge would always be resistance to change. So when people are used to doing things in a particular way, and then you're bringing in technology to change how that is done, the absorption takes a bit of time. But the Gen Z generation, I always say the Gen Z generation is a much maligned generation. That people say, oh, they are badly behaved, but the Gen Z generation actually brings new thinking into the workspace. So that's a generation that is, they are digital natives, unlike a lot of us that are digital nomads. They are digital natives that were born with this thing. So you have more of those people in the workforce, and their rate of absorption of technology, of this innovative mindset is much faster. But of course, older generations too are catching up because the reality, like I said earlier, you either innovate or you go extinct. So everybody realized that, look, we've got to evolve. But the major challenge is that resistance to change. You still have some people who are not so quick to adapt or to adopt, changing technologies. And it may take you a bit of time to bring such people up to speed with those innovations that you're bringing in.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Tunde. Okay, I'd like to ask Temi Tokwe. Temi Tokwe, are you ready for us? Can you please tell us what has been HR's role in preparing the workforce for digital transformation and the adoption of technology-based solutions, especially in your organization?
All right, thank you, Vivian, and good morning, everyone. So let me lay a bit of foundation before I go into the basic HR role. Currently, where I work at the moment, and for a lot of young real estate companies growing up also, you would realize that the way we employ people, the way we bring people on board, probably you have young workforce working with you in the organization. So firstly, our job, as an HR personnel, one of the things we do is aligning strategic objectives. And in our strategic objectives, so in our objectives, you have innovation. Currently, where I work, we have strategic objectives that talk about innovation. And innovation means it's a gradual process. So innovation is a new way of thinking and problem solving. And also using technology as a way of driving innovation. Now, your question is, how do we prepare our workforce for digital transformation? Is that now for our workforce to be able to drive them effectively? Number one, you have to train people. You have to have a good knowledge of what you need them to achieve. So let me say this: you have a strategic objective for innovation. We align people with the innovation and say that, oh guys, this is what we need to achieve at this moment. These are the innovations that we need to drive. We need to have a good knowledge of what we need people to do. So let me give a typical example. So in our workforce, we use customer service. Customer service uses what's it called, a work drive. So we have a work drive that we use as customer service. And we train people in this effect to be able to use the work drive effectively, to be able to achieve their analytical goals. I would like to say this also, as an HR empowered person, why we put, sorry, let me just put my thoughts together, in preparing workforce. So as an HR person, our workforce actually have, oh my God.
Okay, just calm down.
I'm coming. Okay. So how do HR use digital transformation to assist people? So for us at 730, what we do is, for our employees, we actually train them. Number one, you train your people workforce to be able to use digital tools. And also, ability to understand the tools effectively and what they do is very essential. That means that you understand what tools is required per time by the employee, by the workforce, or by the organization, then you are able to train people to use them. And how do you train people to use the tools? You look at the change management process and procedure. Now, when we have employees come on board, we have an onboarding process that even the HR has been asked that the HR has the power to create the onboarding templates, and also we create a Google Meet to be able to meet those needs. Now, another bit is this. In managing analytics, we use people to be able to drive the decision making in the organization also. A typical example, we have managers meeting, and where we have leaders and we have our leaders to be able to manage people effectively. So how do we help this mindset? We look at our workforce and we are able to create a template, a roadmap to achieving this purpose. So innovation mindset means that there's a strategic objective for the organization and there's a roadmap created to achieving this. And in our roadmap, you have things like increased efficiency and capacity. When you say increased efficiency and capacity, that means that you're already telling people that currently, when you do a presentation skill to achieve your reporting, then also we now make it more analytical. More analytical means that we look at our system and we say, that, oh, customer service, our ability to be able to deduct how much more customers have to pay currently and what are the outstanding balances. So we sit down with customer service and we train those people to be able to give adequate results in this effect. Also, we include them in our policy, our objective. When we create it, we have and we also ask them for their inclusiveness. That means that this is what we're going to achieve as an organization. This is what we're going to achieve as an organization. This is where we're going. We need each leaders to be able to align with what we're trying to achieve. Now, let me speak about the process of managing this change. So managing this change means, managing transformational change means that we pick, when we started as an organization, we have paper reporting, we have meetings that we use, that we do. However, moving forward, people have presentation skills. We train them and we also give them the required tools to use. Okay, for 7:30 now, we use the work drive to be able to achieve every customer service and every operational goals. That means we are able to sync every what's it called? Every work of the organization is synchronized in the workplace so that everybody can view in real time. Also, we have an accounting software that we use currently as an organization. We use the accounting software to be able to define our accounting processes, really. Then also we speak to our staff and we encourage them to use their digital skills also. So that means you are encouraging people to use their digital skills. We create a safe environment for people to innovate and bring their innovations to us and say, this is what we need to do and we need to use to achieve what we need to do. At 7:30 also, what we do is we are able to create, we're able to create a balance in people's level of knowledge at the moment and where we are going to. And how do we create this level of knowledge and balance? We create this knowledge of balance by actually letting them understand that this is where the organization is going. When we create a strategic objective for the organization and we're saying we're trying to innovate, so innovation means for us that we are moving from this platform to this platform. And I use an example. Before, we use an Excel sheet to achieve our our customers' data. However, right now, it's being transported into a work drive. And in our work drive, it means that there can be a level of alignment between every unit. A customer data right now, the MD has the data information, and also other key strategic people have those information. Now, we're able to sensitize people on, educate people on why they need innovation and why we need technology-based solutions within the organization. That means that you are able to speak to the people about the need, the use of the technology. You need to understand why they need it. What are the
Sorry, Temitope, we can't hear you again.
results we need to achieve with such a technology? What are the key what are the results that we need the technology to do to achieve for us? Then need to be able to. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. It just
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. We can hear you. Are you done? Have you wrapped up?
Okay. No, I'm not done, please. Okay. So, can I go ahead?
Yes, please. Go ahead. But very quickly.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So we have what's it called? There's a workflow to digitalization and there's a roadmap to it. And at every roadmap, there's what people are expected to do. So we train people to be able to achieve it. And also we introduce the tool to them to be able to work with, and we train them on the tool. Number one, we create that mindset for them and say that this is what we're trying to achieve as an organization. Then also we introduce the tools to them and say these are the tools required to achieve this milestone or this digitalization for the business. Really, I'd like to stop there.
Thank you very much, Temitope. I want to believe that the CRM you were talking about is the one that you developed, right?
Yes, please.
Awesome. Great. Just a very quick question, okay? This also brings me to one of what you just raised. How do you ensure that the roadmap you mentioned is followed through by staffs? Very quickly, please.
All right, thank you very much. So for the roadmaps that you create, when you create a roadmap, number one is aligning with strategic objective of the organization. That means that for every unit, they understand what is the need to be achieved. So a typical one says that ensure all work goes on the work drive at this instance. That means that for every unit, we speak with every department and unit head to create the work drive for them. Also, then if that is done, we are able to also sit down and analyze with them and say that this is what work drive can do for you. This is what you can achieve with this work drive. Then also for talking about the CRM, I created and I looked at. So I had a background in real estate all along till now. And one of the typical issues or the problem that was inherent at that point in time was customer data analytics. So for customer data analytics, what a typical problem would be that people would ask, the management would ask questions like, what amount or what installment are customers supposed to pay this period? And also bear in mind that you have customer service people whom you are giving KPIs to. Then you have KPIs that says that achieve 50%, 50% collection of debt from our customers. But however, that won't even be effective if you don't know what the amount to be recovered is exactly. So what the data CRM does is that it helps you analyze those data and also gives you the figure and the report of what needs to be achieved per time. So that means that right now, it has been able to help us say that customer service, this is the XYZ amount you're supposed to achieve, and what percentage are you achieving with it? So they can also define themselves what level of success they've achieved on their KPI.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Moving on, we'll move to Yetunde very quickly. Yetunde, I know that time is of the essence. Please, can you tell us how HR can encourage cross-departmental collaboration in companies where departments often operate in silos? Yetunde, please. Is Yetunde there? I think we lost Yetunde. Okay, Aisha, very quickly, can you also tell us what role does internal communication play in promoting a shared vision for innovation across all levels of the organization?
Okay, thank you for that question. So internal communication goes a long way in helping organizations achieve this goal of innovative practice. Now, you can't have innovation without alignment. And what do I mean by that? You need to, from the frontline staff to the facility managers, to whoever, supervisory heads, and even the top managers in the organization, from the frontline to the top, you need to understand what the company is trying to achieve. So if you're able to achieve, understand what that goal is, you need to also understand how they fit in. That's how this staff, how your staff, how do they fit in to that goal that you are trying to achieve? Now, HR has insights like internal surveys, exit interviews, one-on-one feedbacks. You need to make use of these insights to understand where your staff fit in achieving your goal. Now you need to share the why behind changes. If there are changes, tell them why there are changes. Let them know what you want to achieve and why there is a change. You need to share that with your staff. Secondly, keep your message clear and open. You need to ensure that the message is clear to start with, make it open and keep it consistent. Keep your message very consistent. Also, you need to highlight success stories. In this process of sharing why there's a change, an effort is put into place. How you're able to share and make sure that your message is consistent, you're already carrying them along. Now, highlight the success stories that you've had in the organization. Let them know what the process is. People will put inputs together, but that process before the output, let them know what the process is. Carry them along the step by step before you achieve that output. Definitely there will be bottlenecks along the line, but if you carry them along by giving them, making the message clear and consistent, they would know what has been put in place to achieve the output. When people feel part of the journey, they bring their best foot forward. When you carry them along, it helps them to put their best foot forward. It helps them to want to give in their all to ensure that you achieve that goal. So that internal communication is not just about giving a notice or you just want to share. Make sure that you carry everybody along. Let them know why there's a change. If something is going to be modified, let them know why you are modifying it. Some people will tell you, they'll just go and pass an announcement or give a notice. So something is not holding up, we are doing this. But they don't feel carried along. They feel those of you at the head are just doing the plus and minus and changing things. No, you shouldn't do that. Internal communication is just about passing notices and information. It's about sharing why there is a change. Let them know the why behind the changes. Keep your message clear and consistent. Then highlight the success stories. These 3 points would help the HR department pass a clear communication. Communication is not clear if both parties or all the parties involved have not understood what you are trying to say. There's a difference between just communicating and communicating effectively. So the only way you can achieve that effective communication is to ensure that you put these 3 things into play. Let them know why there is a change, ensure that the communication is open and consistent, and highlight the success stories along the line. Highlight the small wins. Let them feel part of the journey. So all this is why I said at the beginning that you can't have innovation if there is no alignment. And these are the methods the steps that you can use to have an alignment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That goes to tell us that communication is key, whether we like it or not. Yetunde, we lost you initially. Yetunde, can you hear us, please? Yetunde?
I think you can hear me now.
Yes, okay. So we lost you earlier.
Okay.
Can you please tell us what kinds of internal structures have you seen that has worked well in promoting company-wide innovation, especially in your own company?
Okay, all right. Thank you, Vivian, and thank you to all other panelists that have spoken so far. So I'll say that you literally do not need a Silicon Valley budget, right, to build a culture of innovation. Literally, it's more about the structure and the support, right? So, but one thing I would say is create space for innovation. That it just allow people to have time and permission to explore new ideas. Not just like Tunde said earlier that the generations that we have right now, the generation that speaks out, right? They want to share their ideas. The ones that they have, they want to let you know how it is, and they just want to be free to speak, right? So I'll give an example, right? We introduced that innovative, let me say Innovation Friday, like having more like one Friday in a month where staff can just step away from routine work, right, to test new ideas. So some just reorganize their workspace or their workflow, others just try to put new tools there to just make them to look quite different, right? All that kind of thing just keep innovation active. Don't make it rigid. Flexibility is what works for them. So far you are rigid around this, you want to be innovative, you're looking at the technology part and all that, and you're not giving the room or the space. It's more like you're not even doing anything literally, and you will definitely get the feedback. So the feedback can either be negative or positive. So that now it will take you to another sphere of sorting issues, right? So another thing is you can set up systems to collect ideas. So I will always see companies will tell you that they have a suggestion box kept somewhere, or rather an anonymous link that is provided, right? So instead of just waiting for people to speak up, right? Just create these channels where ideas can be shared regularly. So for example, having a virtual or suggestion box, like I said, or like an online form that anyone can fill out anonymously with their name or with their names, right? It just depends how they want it to be done. Yours is to get the feedback or get the information, or rather having a small committee review them as well. That's when we talk about these suggestion boxes, have a small committee review them monthly and pick one or two to test, right? What you do with this is that if this is being picked on and being done, the person that gives this idea will be, in short, you don't need to really fight for anything, or rather, you don't need to speak too much. More ideas will definitely come. You will get more insight from people. People want to be seen. They want to you really try to want to build that ownership mentality out of people so that they can say that, yes, I did this, I contribute to this. It can as well be set into their KPIs, right? How innovative you've been in the past quarter or in the past half of the year or end of the year, right? And you celebrate the wins as well. So when we talk about celebrating the wins, I know that Aisha made mention of this as well, right? Do not just hold on to the failure part. I'm always saying something, even with my team, that don't focus on the problem. Rather, you've seen the problem, right? Let's go to the solution. Because by the time you're just meddling on that problem, right, a whole lot of time has gone. And by the time you're not thinking of putting solution to it, guess what? It may not really even meet the need any longer. And then it will be like you're not start throwing blames and saying that, this one did it. Start pointing fingers. We literally do not need that. We've seen the problem, then let's go to the solution, right? So celebrate small wins. You don't need to invent the next Uber or the Bolt or the next Big Best or anything. You literally don't have to do that, right? Even small wins matters. I would say that. And when people or employees see their ideas making a difference, they are more likely to come forward again. They will definitely come forward again, no matter what. It can be so, in short, I would say that no ideas is quite stupid, right? I'm sorry for my choice of word. No idea is like, it's just to drop it in the bin. No, check it out. Out of one or two or three, you might definitely see something to come together and put together and make as a whole, right? So another thing we can always do, right, is to offer incentive for successful innovation outcomes. So you can literally do maybe employee of the month or of the quarter or in short, employee of the year is not bad. People look forward to this kind of thing. Like they really try to look forward to it, especially if there are incentive attached. There's other recognition and every other thing. They want to be recognized, right? Including recognizing learning from failures as well. So we cannot take that off. Let us recognize the failure and let us as well learn from it. So I've said that's my point on that question.
Thank you very much, Yetunde. But what you kind of gave us more or less suggestions. I actually wanted to hear what you have seen that has worked well at Veritasi Homes. Okay. Okay. Just tell us one or two internal structures that you've seen that has worked well in your company.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. All right. Thank you for that. So let me use my cross-departmental, that's customer happiness, my marketing and sales as an example, right? We know that these three departments basically is always the kind of the tussle in the real estate because they want to have different data. This one want to have another data. I want to be the one to own this, right? And the only way we can do this to promote innovation, right, is so what we now did basically is to create a particular, more like a CRM, right? To say that we are going to give someone from each of those departments access to this, CRM so that we can have a concise information, right? And then we also feel free to share ideas and innovation. So literally everything doesn't have to be in the boardroom. It can be on a coffee or the kind of maybe a virtual meeting or more like just to get together and then you're sharing ideas and innovation. We just want to internalize this structure so that it can work well for promoting innovation, across board. Because Veritasi is not just in Lagos only, we also have in Abuja. So when we're not talking about people that we see only, how do we connect some of our, staff, employees that are also managing different projects in the other state, right? So that's why we do more like a virtual. So guys, come together. Let's have this. I know that we have these challenges, right? And we recognize it. That's the first thing. And then we know that, yes, we tried this. It wasn't working. So what can we do? Let's come together. Let's give an idea. You bring yours. Let's see how we can make it concise. And the next thing now is the next step of what are we doing next, right? So from this meeting that we are coming together, we know what to do next. We know which department to connect to get that done, right? And we know who to also go with. So more like, okay, this is an innovation. who are we holding to allow this to work? Get a champion for it, right? So it can be the customer, someone from the customer happiness to say, be the champion for this thing, while every other person will work together to get it done. So that by the time you're saying this, it's not just the one person doing it, it's more like a teamwork, and then we're celebrating it, right? So that's basically what I would say I want to attribute to it here. So I won't really take much of our time.
Thank you very much, Yetunde. I hope that we'll learn from that. We all learn new things every day. I would like to go on to Florence. Please, Florence, can you tell us how HR has upskilled or has reskilled long-term serving employees to become more adaptable and innovation-minded in your organization? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, refers, so I understand well how HR have been able to reskill
And upskill.
long-term employee and what?
Reskill and upskill long-term
Reskill
employees to become more adaptable and innovation-minded.
Yes. So in our company, good enough, we have employees who have been there for 10 years, 15 years also. And of course, you know that I mentioned earlier that we moved from a stage in our organization where we're doing low costing housing, and now we've moved to the luxury part of it, and we still have the same set of employees there. And one of the things that we prioritize is to look at the skill gaps. So you'd come in with a particular skill, and you have used that skill to solve the problem at that time. But as the organization is innovating, we are moving, we are growing. Are you also growing as an individual? Are you also growing in your career? Are you also growing to fit in to where the organization is going? And what, of course, we did or we are doing is to identify the gaps of such employees. We look at the gaps and the role that they play. We merge them together, we align them together. And for those that need to go on training, yes, they go on training. For those that we need to have an internal training the trainer internally, yes, we do that. So one thing also that we then try to infuse into our system is KSS. We call it knowledge sharing session. So for knowledge sharing session, we have employees from different generation, workforce generation. We then have, sometimes it can be a particular type of book that we are reading as an organization. Either you've been there for 15 years, either you're there for 2 months, and so on. So we group ourselves into different groups, and you then see that the skills that you feel that you have, and you think that that's still the reigning skill. You see another generation, let's say we have a baby boomer in that group, you then see that the way you would present your PowerPoint presentation is different from the way a Gen Z would present their own slide also. Then you then start to look at it. Another thing is we encourage people to bring it forward. You have identified it yourself. Aside from when we have the gaps, aside when we identify the gaps among our employees, and we try to fill in the gaps either during appraisal period at the end of 6 months. We've identified the gaps of the area where you've not performed well, because of course we review all the questions in our appraisal as it so suits with our strategic objective. In this area, why did you score a low mark? You scored because you don't have the skill. Then we then say, oh, you don't have this particular skill, that's why you score a low mark. Then we put that as part of the training. Because mid-year appraisal is basically for training and development. So we are all out to ensure that you train. In the next 6 months, when we are appraising you, we are not appraising you to talk about the gap any longer. We are appraising you to check if you are able, the training that you were sent to bridge that gap, if you're able to solve that problem. That is what we are checking in the next 6 months. So what we've been able to do as an organization, one is to identify gaps within our long-serving employees, not just leave them there, not just feel that, oh, they've been there, and then we bring in experts or more people, then we have overhead employees that we keep paying salaries. Some are not doing anything while others are burdened with loads of work. We identify the gaps and we try to bridge the gap with trainings, either external trainings. We go as much as sending some of our employees outside the country to bridge some of these gaps if necessary. We have internal gaps, internal trainings. We have knowledge sharing session where we talk about it, where we train it. I also know that when we had the new brand and marketing, head of brand and marketing, she came in with a lot of creative skills that was going to be very useful. So what we had planned to do is, of course, we would have every Wednesday we have this session. Then we are having everyone come on board if you want to learn this particular skill that will help you on your job. Somebody is here to train you. Even in-house, we are doing that. Somebody is here to solve this problem for you and so on. So training, both external training, internal training, and also having that knowledge sharing session for us, either from new employee, but of course, the new employees, we already know what we want. That's why we have brought you in, all right? But for the old ones that you've used your old skills, but the organization have grown beyond the skills, then we then try to bridge the gap. We keep bridging the gap until you get to where the organization gets to. Because if the organization is growing at 100% and you are growing at a slow pace, it will be difficult for you to match the organization expectation. And one other thing that we do is we review all our appraisal the first 6 months of the year. We review the questions, we review your KPIs, we review where you had high mark as low marks, and we then ask the question, what happened here? What's the gap? What training do you need to bridge the gap? And in the next 6 months, we are not asking what training do you need, because we've already sent you on training. We are then asking, do you still have the low mark? What's attributed to it? Was the training beneficiary to you? So we then evaluate and put our reports together. So that's what we do for a long-serving employee. And with that, employees have really grown over time. And of course, we also do reassignment. We also do job rotation. We do redeployment. We redeploy from one department to another. We reassign new tasks according to the skill that you feel that you can work with, and it has really helped an employee. So you are not just on one job for 10 years. You can move from customer service, you can move to brands and marketing, you can move to business development. So you're gathering knowledge, you're mixing with different people and so on. So those are the ways that in Powell Morgan we've used to develop our long-standing employees and bridge the gap, the knowledge gap for them over the years.
Thank you very much, Florence. That's quite very insightful, and I hope that maybe some of us here would learn from the ideas that you've brought on board. Moving on, I know that we have a few more minutes to go, so the questions that I'll throw out to each and every one of us will be very brief. I need your answers to be very brief, please. And this goes to Tunde. Tunde, please, how can you tell us how HR will influence senior leadership to take on innovation as seriously as operational performance or sales targets? Very quickly, please. Thank you.
Yeah, very quickly. Some admonition, I think one of the best admonition I ever had in my HR career is to understand the business, learn the language of the business, and read the room. So as HR professionals, you need to understand what's priority for the business at every point in time, which is why you also have to be involved in the whole strategy sessions, in crafting the organizational strategy. So whatever you're bringing, whatever ideas, you're not just bringing building castles in the air. You heard about something nice from one organization and you're not able to situate it to the specific needs, of your organization. So basically, whatever innovation you're coming up with or you want to encourage in the system, make sure it addresses the specific needs of the business at that point in time. That way you have the ears and the hearts, of executive management. Another thing that would also work is to find a champion within the executive management team who buys into, those ideas that you're trying to bring on board. Let them see how it either makes us more money or reduces, our expenses for us. Because for management, at the end of the day, it's about the bottom line. They've got a board to report to, and numbers really do matter. So whatever you're doing has to speak to those numbers. It's either it's making us more money or it's reducing, expenses for us. So let me just keep it at that because of time. Thank you
very much. One more question. Can you please tell us what practical steps can HR take to build a culture of innovation within traditionally conservative real estate firms?
Okay, so that's for me, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. One, reward innovation. Reward innovation. I think somebody also had mentioned that. Make it something that is worth the time for the employees. They look forward to it. In NMRC, we actually instituted some reward mechanisms a year ago. We rewarded people who fell into those categories. So it's not just a one bucket thing. Different categories. You do this, you get this kind of reward. You do this outside of your core function, you get this kind of reward. You do this within your core function, you get this kind of reward. So reward innovation, make it part of the values. We redefined our values a year or two ago as well, and made innovation one of our values. And it's not just written. You incorporate it into your performance management system so that you're also able to evaluate it, and of course, get the top leadership, the tone at the top really, really matters in driving innovation. It gets management to also buy into that and speak that language of innovation, and then you're able to get people to join that move.
Thank you very much, Tunde. Temitope, please, are you there? Can you tell us, looking ahead, what future trends do you believe will reshape the HR's role in driving innovation in Nigeria's real estate sector, especially coming from your company? Temitope.
All right, thank you so much, Vivian. So one of the trends that will shape our role in the future is how we acquire our talents. And acquiring talent means that how do we bring the right people on board for us? You would know that in this space of sectors, a lot of talent actually wants to go into other sectors, other spaces. Real estate is just evolving. So now we need to have a creative mindset to be able to redesign our work such that we can attract the right set of people to us. We need to also be able to build our employee value proposition effectively, that it can attract the right talent to us. And redesigning our work means that we have to be able to understand what the current skills are required and what level of knowledge people have, and also ensure that our work is aligned in that line. A typical example, you bring people on board right now and you have a young workforce that comes on board who has the skill of website, Canva, use of digital tools. Then you bring them into a system where you don't have the facility to use those tools. It's a matter of time. So that means that you need to effectively redesign your work structure such that it can align with the knowledge and skills that they bring, and also create a career development path for them such that they want to stay with your organization. So bring them on board is not enough, but retaining them is extremely important. Retaining them means that they can see career growth within the organization. That means we're able to also create meaningful work that they see that this is a place where they would like to be and also grow as people. So I think that our ability to, the future trend is that bringing in talent and ensuring that we have the right people on board. And that means we have to reevaluate our internal work, structure it effectively so that we can attract the right talent to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Temitope. Yetunde, can you please tell us very quickly, how can HR teams navigate cultural norms, regulatory constraints, or infrastructure gaps while still driving forward with the innovative change? Very quickly, please. You're not muted. Sorry, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? right?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right, thank you. So I was saying, so let's just face it, right? Driving changes in the real estate isn't always smooth, especially when you're dealing with rigid structures, traditional mindset, or limited infrastructure, right? But HR still need to lead innovation. So I'll give an example, right? At my company, we wanted to introduce a digital attendance system. But many employees were used to a certain way of signing in, right? More like using their card and all that. But I feel that using your card alone, you can definitely give your card to anyone to clock in on your behalf. So I came up with another way at which you can get this done using our own fingerprint. And there's a certain department, they were telling me that I hardly have a long nails. I won't be able to, put in my finger, right? So I said, no problem, we're going to work it out. So we're able to start with a few departments and got feedback. And then we're able to use that success stories to also encourage wider adoption, right? I'll be able to get that done. So always, I would say that if your company, culture, values, relationship, and respect to hierarchy, right? Don't fight it. Instead, just work with it and let it go, right? If senior leaders are well respected, are within your own, purview, right? Please use them as your innovation champions and let them pilot new ideas first. Others will definitely likely follow it, right? So another thing I'll talk about is, working around regulatory and infrastructure gaps. Regulations and poor infrastructure can be limiting. I know that. But just as Tunde said earlier, why we started this session, that they don't have to stop innovation, literally. So HR can help team focus on all processes improvements, and they don't really literally require huge tech investment. So an example I also use at Veritas is when we're trying to launch a complex property management system, right? So one of our basically we started using a Google Sheet, right, to track client update. But it wasn't perfect, literally. But guess what? It worked. So we're able to bring in different departments that I know that they would definitely have to have access to this Google Sheet, more like from the legal to the sales, customer happiness, finance, right? Even marketing are the way, just to put them so that everybody can have access to this Google Sheet and can get out the data that they need at the point in time. So I will also say regarding the regulatory that please ensure compliance while exploring flexibility within current regulations. You can't take that off literally, right? So, also my last point would be to create a safe space to try new ideas, right? People don't try new ideas if they are afraid of being punished for failing. They would not, definitely, right? But HR can promote psychological safety. All we just need to do is by encouraging experimental and celebrating the lesson learned, not just the wins. Let's celebrate the lesson learned. So my final point here is, kindly please, let's establish open communication channels for ideas and feedback. Guess what? Open communication channel also have its advantage and disadvantage. But we can literally their advantage is quite more. So let's just focus on that. So thank you.
Thank you, Yetunde. That's quite insightful. Very quickly, Aisha, can you please tell us what role does internal communication play in promoting a shared vision for innovation across all levels of the organization? Very quickly, please. Aisha.
Okay, yes, I'm here. Okay, yeah, so like I said earlier, internal communication goes a long way in the sense that if you carry each and every one along, looking through all the departments, let them know how they fit in. It's not just about hearing from A and B. You're giving them the chance to contribute in the way they fit in. How do they fit in? Someone from the sales department would communicate, give you their own suggestions. Someone from maybe marketing or finance would give you their own suggestion. How does their suggestion fit in? We have different roles. What they're saying, how does it fit into the goal we are trying to achieve? Now, you need to be able to ensure that they understand what you want to achieve as a company. If they understand that, that would guide the kind of suggestions or comments or feedbacks that they would give. Now, you also need to encourage them to offer some level of mentorship and growth paths. If you do that, it would inform an intentional suggestion or feedback from them. You're not just giving them the role to talk, but you are able to ensure that you've sold the idea of what you want to do to them well. They are already informed about what you want to do. So it will shape the kind of comments and feedbacks that they would give to the team.
Right. Thank you very much, Aisha. We're trying to wrap up, and in conclusion to this session, I want to say thank you very much to everyone for joining us in this session to talk on the topic, the role of HR in fostering a culture of innovation in the real estate sector. Our discussion has highlighted how HR can actually drive innovation through digital tools, upskilling, collaboration, and a culture of psychological safety. As we've seen, each and every one of us here as HR practitioners and professionals no longer just need a support function. It's a strategic force shaping the future of real estate in Nigeria. We hope today's insights have empowered HR leaders to lead innovation and drive meaningful growth across the industry. And so for closing remarks, we want to say on behalf of Regenesis Business School, a very big thank you to our esteemed panelists, Tunde, Florence, Temitope, Yetunde, and Aisha for sharing your expertise and insight with us today. And another very big thank you to our audience for joining us and participating actively. It has actually really made our discussions very vital and impactful. But before we wrap up, we'd like to allow each and every one of you give a final thought or two. Just a minute, please. So Tunde, a final thought, 1 minute. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Vivian. Final thought for me is innovation can be incremental. And so this is just a word of advice to HR professionals, business owners, especially in the built environment, the real estate. It doesn't have to happen in one fell swoop. It could be incremental. I mean, yesterday talks about using Google Sheets. You know, there have been times when you think that, this organization uses SAP, and then you want to bring in SAP into your environment, and you're just a small shop. A Google Sheet can work for you, an Excel sheet can work for you. You know, so it could be incremental. We don't have to just make wholesale changes just at once. Start small and then scale up. Thank you.
Thank you. Temitope, very quickly.
So I'd like to conclude by saying that as HR people, we also have to have an innovative mindset. We have to understand what innovation is all about, and also being able to also help organizations understand at what level do we need certain level of innovation. Like Tunde rightly said, you don't have knowledge of big SAP and bring it into a small shop. As little as email work drives, Excel is, they can create a level of innovation within the organization before you get to automation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Temitope. Aisha.
Okay, so quickly, in addition to all I've said earlier, I would say give an open communication opportunity, reward creativity, and drive incentives. I mean, reward your creativity, encourage cross-functional learning, let different departments come together and learn from each other. And then as the HR, ensure that you put all these ideas together and you pitch it out to the management. It's not enough to give people a chance to talk. It's not enough to just give a voice, but picking from their comments, picking from their feedbacks, and being able to drive at an impactful and creative suggestion from all you've gathered. And finally, if you don't give people the opportunity to talk, they won't feel alone. When you invest in them, they would invest in innovation. Thank you.
Thank you, Aisha. Yetunde, very quickly.
All right, thank you. So I would say that innovation is not just about technology, right? It's about the mindset, literally. So as HR, we are uniquely positioned, right, to shape how people think, collaborate, and as well take risk. So in the real estate sector, we have tradition grown so deep, right? So HR can be the bridge between where we are right now and where we need to be. But please, with no pressure, right? So thank you.
Thank you, Yetunde. Florence.
Yes, thank you. It's been very insightful hearing from every other person on this panel session. So my last word would be, beyond HR looking out for other people, please look out for yourself. Be sure that you are also innovative in your own way in carrying out our own activity. That's one. Sometimes we tend to solve the innovative part of the organization, and we're also rigid in our own way as professional. It is when you are innovative, like Yetunde said, in your mind, you are able to also look out for other people and also encourage them. But if the HR professional herself or himself is rigid, you would not be able to promote innovation. You will not be able to drive the culture yourself because already you are fixed in your own mindset. So HR professionals should start. We should start with ourselves on the mindset shift on innovation. Then you can also give what you have within.
Thank you very much. On a lighter note, I'd like to ask each and every one of us this question very quickly. And this goes to Yetunde. If you had to choose between skydiving and swimming in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, which would you choose? Quickly.
That's deep. I said I would choose skydiving.
Why?
Because I cannot swim. But yes, I can take the risk of doing skydiving actually.
Awesome. Aisha, what about you?
Oh yes, so I go with Yetunde as well.
Okay, great. Tell me,
I'll choose skydiving, and why?
Why? Tell me. Why?
Okay, I can't swim either, so I'll do skydiving.
Okay, Florence, very quickly. Shaking her head.
I'll go home. I'm going home.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not doing any. I'm going home.
So you're not a risk taker. You are not a risk taker.
In that part, we are not sure of what is in the water, what is there. No, I'm going home. That kind of risk, I will not take it.
Okay, Tunde, let's hear what the man has to say. Tunde.
I'm tempted to go with
Tunde
Florence.
should do both. I was just about saying
actually.
Tunde should do both.
You should swim
Actually.
actually.
You should do both.
But if I have to do one, I'll skydive. So I will just take the plunge once and that's it.
All right. Thank you, everyone. That'll be all from us. It's been lovely having you guys. We're looking forward to connecting again here. Have a lovely day. And this has come to the end of the session. Thank you and bye-bye.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.